CC4 from the Content Communicators Manual, that's project number 4, and it's entitled Toastmasters to the Rescue. I knew I forgot something. Just how you got a book. And it's really about clearly structuring your speech, making every word and every sentence count. The goals of the speech are stated as follows. Select the right words and sentence structures to communicate your ideas clearly, accurately and vividly. Use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasise ideas. And eliminate jargon and unnecessary words and use correct grammar. Time 5 to 7 minutes.
Good evening, Acting President, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster and most welcome guests. It's 2100 years and Grandpa Stanley's sitting around a dining table with his beloved grandchildren, eating supper. It's a bit like the scene from the Waltons, except it's not the Walton family and it's not America, because we're in Ethiopia, because America and Great Britain drowned many years ago. Grandad, can you tell us a story? Why are we in Ethiopia? I want to hear it again. Please, tell us. Okay then, are you sitting comfortably? Many years ago, when I was a lad, I lived in Great Britain. It was great back then. It was very good. It was too good, because people became complacent and greedy. Greedy for designer labels, greedy for celebrity status, greedy for money. Families had TVs in every room, and they had their central heating on full, a bit like here tonight, I think. Walking around in t-shirts, thinking they're in subtropical climates. The trouble was that all this greediness was causing our planet Earth to die slowly. And every night on the news there'd be articles saying we're running out of gas, we're running out of energy. And our landfill sites were bursting at the seams with our disposable society. Then one day, somebody discovered gas miles beneath the earth, miles beneath Britain, Great Britain. The trouble is, to get to it, we had to drill for miles and miles underneath. And we had to pump toxic, horrible chemicals and fresh water down to get the gas. Boom! The fracking industry exploded. And the first place to be fracked was Lancashire. Unfortunately, soon after the fracking started, there were earthquakes which were linked to the fracking. Shortly after the fracking and earthquakes, there was great big storms, brought with them great big floods, and Lancashire was soon flooded, and everyone had to leave their homes. Greed for money turned to poverty, and things were getting worse and worse. Britain became a frustrated, frightened, frantic country to live in. And soon there was no electricity, because electricity was becoming more and more scarce because all the substations were being flooded. So people had nothing to do. They didn't have TV to watch anymore, had no Facebook to play on. Even best friends were fighting. All our luscious green countryside was turning into concrete carbuncles with diesel guzzling lorries going to and from the site, taking toxic waste to storage sites. Again, the news, they were telling us how bad it was going to get, but nobody listened. But luckily, my Auntie Vicky belonged to a great club called Toastmasters. There's Toastmasters all over the country, all over the world. And it wasn't long before my Auntie Vicky was called into village halls to communicate with all the communities there and entertain them. Because there was no electricity. Every time I do a talk, this happens. There was no electricity, but Toastmasters made their own electricity. Shortly after this, about for 2 years, this carried on, it became a bit of a craze, a frenzy, a Toastmaster frenzy, and all the members of Toastmasters went all over the country communicating and doing great storytelling to the communities. They had nothing else to do. They had no TVs. They had TVs in every room, but they couldn't watch them because there was no electricity. Anyway, shortly afterwards, about 2 years later, Britain was totally submerged, and there was a mass frantic evacuation out of the UK. And everyone was jumping onto boats they could find, makeshift boats, and they could go into any country and take them. My auntie Vicky chose to go to Ethiopia. She'd fundraised for Ethiopia when she was a school child, and she wanted to see how they were coming on. And there was clubs in Ethiopia already. So off we went, the whole family went to Ethiopia. And we discovered things had come on great bounds, because they'd actually discovered this fantastic free resource, the sun. They converted into energy. And they talked to the World Bank and got loads of money to build solar panels. And then they got factories. And they were building their own factories. They were totally independent. And anyway, our family helped them with all the coastal countries around Ethiopia to build a desalination plant. And it turned all the salty water into crystal clear, fresh drinking water. And soon, Ethiopia went from the 10th poorest country to the 10th richest country in the world. Grandad, will we ever see the UK again? Will we see America? No, I'm afraid not, because although we drink in the seawater, it's crystal clear water, and sea levels are gradually going down, it'll be hundreds of years before Britain comes back up. But don't worry, Ethiopia's a great place, and Toastmasters are sending the message out. We're all happy, all cheerful, the sun's always shining, but there was a talk of fracking happening in Ethiopia, because there was oil reserves underneath, but Toastmasters had done a job and said, given the message that planet Earth's a beautiful place, it's got enough resources for a man's needs, but it hasn't got enough resources for a man's greed. Anyway, your mum and dad will be back from Toastmasters any minute now, so go to bed, hurry up. And then come and say good night. Good night, Grandpa. Good night, Jonathan. Good night, Elizabeth. Good night, Toastmasters.